Wow. I don't know where to begin. Kerrigan Miller, welcome to Connect with KT. Very excited to have you here. There's been a lot that has happened since I last saw you, but we're
Really?
gonna go ahead and start at the beginning. So, as I do with most of my guests. So I remember I was I was a sophomore in high school and I had just committed to USC. And I went on a family skiing trip. And I went on like Lax Power or whatever it was at the time to like look at who else was committed. So I could like find like Instagrams and like make friends. And
Yeah.
I'm like going through the class and oh, and I was also like stalking highlight tapes because I was like, what position do these people play? Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, next question. So, and I remember I watched, I went on YouTube and I searched your name and I saw the video of you with the song Hall of Fame,
Oh yeah.
and you're just like, run. And I was
Dude,
like,
my mom, I think it must have took 3 weeks for my mom to make that. She's like, "Do you like this? What about?" I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
"Yeah."
Dude, it was unbelievable. And I just remember watching, and I was like, oh my God, like these girls are insane. Like, and then I watched everybody else silence and I was like, wow, this is nuts. And then you, so that's a good segue into you obviously were highly touted recruit. I told you we would talk about this, even though it was 55 years ago.
Watch.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but so one of the things I found interesting is like there's kind of this like lack of media in lacrosse, like especially in women's lacrosse. And you were on that U19 team, so you basically were like the poster child of like the YouTube channel for like a little while there. And you were like
Mhm.
super young, and there really wasn't anything at the time like that. So what was that like? And like what was your reaction when you started to like gain a lot of followers from that YouTube series and you were like, oh my God, like what was that like?
Yeah. I mean, when we did the tryout for US, it was like there was a training weekend, and then they had their training team. So,
Yeah.
and then from that, you could still get cut. It was like a year-long process that they did, like training weekend, similar to the senior team.
Yeah.
So they had the training team roster, and then we were kind of getting down to the wire. Then they cut their team, and like we're getting ready to go to Scotland. And I remember we're in this like team meeting, and they're telling us like what's it going to be like with travel, everything, because we're leaving right from this facility to then go to Scotland.
Yeah.
And I kind of got the opportunity to be the GoPro. They called the GoPro girl, like by default, because they were like, hey, like we need two people to help with our media.
Yeah.
One of you is gonna do like writing like blogs and like just journaling about your experience, and the other is gonna control the GoPro. And actually, Jackie Gilbert was the
You're
girl.
kidding.
I'm pretty sure. Do not quote
Was
me on that, but I'm
writing? Was
pretty sure.
writing?
Yeah, she was like, "Oh,
Okay,
I'll."
okay, okay. I thought you were gonna say I thought you were gonna say she like wanted to be the GoPro girl, and I was like,
No, no,
oh,
no.
okay, yeah,
And then I fought her for it.
yeah, yeah,
No, she wanted. She's like, "Yeah, I'll do the vlog thing," and I was like, "I'll do the GoPro. Like, I
yeah,
have one at home. Like, I know how to work that."
yeah.
And they're like,
You're
"Great."
like, how hard could it be? Come on.
I was like, "Whatever." But immediately, I'm like, "This thing is gonna be awesome." So I filmed everything we did, and
Yeah,
like I remember at the end when he was like, "All right, I need the GoPro. Like, I need to have all the film."
yeah, yeah,
I gave him the GoPro back, sent him all the film, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like hours of things that I have to go through to cut." And I was like, this wasn't just I was taking this seriously.
yeah,
Like, I think. And me and Claire was like my bus buddy and like my best friend at the time. She still is, but we would just mess around with this thing, just like do random interviews with people, and they're like on the spot, or like filming people just doing the most random things, but it made it so much fun. Like
yeah, yeah.
it was
And
awesome.
yeah, and there was that clip of you guys like when there was like a wall, like, and you were in the street, and you were like, "Is that Canada's practice?" Like, dude, honestly, I was like younger than you, and I remember I like watched all those games, like, cause like it was lacrosse, like on TV. Well, not TV, but like whatever.
Yeah, you
And I watched all, yeah, and I watched all the games, and then I remember that like stuff started coming out, like all the videos, and I was dying. Like, I was like, "This is nuts!" Like,
but I was a junior in high school. I look back at that stuff, and like half of it I'm crying, the
yeah,
other half I'm laughing my ass off, and then I'm cringing for
yeah,
like the
yeah,
parts
yeah,
like that. I'm like,
yeah,
why did I think that this is okay? But I also didn't know that this thing was going to be you
all
know,
over the world.
YouTube. I was
Yeah.
like, gosh, you guys could have gave me a little bit of a warning.
Yeah, because I think I think if you gave like the average 16-year-old lacrosse player a GoPro and told them to like walk around with it, like I don't think they would do like I've done like edits where I've like given players like a GoPro or a camera for a day and like whatever, and I give back like a variety of things, but like it's so funny that like Josh got the clips and it was just like
Oh my
how
gosh,
was
yeah, that's when me and Empty Duck, Empty Duck really started our really good friendship there.
years together.
He was
Um,
awesome.
Yeah, so then, all right, so then you're on the U.S. team, like whatever, like you obviously top recruit, number one recruit. So what made you choose USC as I'm sure you had like a lot of other offers? And
Mhm.
I know you've probably gotten this question a lot, but like what really do you think it was, like looking back now in retrospect, that like
Mhm.
made you fall in love with USC over like top schools? Because they weren't even like ranked at the time.
Yeah. When the recruiting was so different now. Like, I feel bad for these kids who are going through recruiting now. Like,
Yeah.
can't even, yeah. But back in my day, USC was the first school to show interest in me. And there was no like date where it's like, okay, now the coaches can talk to you. So I was a sophomore. It was like the summer after my freshman year. So I was going into my sophomore year. And for like ever, me and one of my best friends from home were like, we want to go to college in California. Like, we want to live over
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
everyone wants to go over there. And
We're
I
gonna
told my dad,
surf, and we're gonna surf every day, and we're gonna like the whole
yeah, we're gonna be in our
yeah,
house. We're gonna live in California. You know, like that.
exactly,
Like,
yeah,
had my little goal set.
100%.
And I told my dad when I was like probably a freshman, I was like, I'm gonna go to school in California. And he was like, okay, like we'll see who pays for that. Like, definitely. So then I remember this was like it was like a tournament that we played for Yellow Jackets. And this was one like the first tournaments that college coaches actually came and like watched because we were young.
Yeah, yeah.
And Devin Wills was on the sideline. She was watching our team. And everyone on my team knew that I was like, oh, I
Cali girl, yeah, yeah, surf for
they were
sure.
like, Kara, it's a USC, and I was like, oh no, like stop, like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, and this game, I remember I like really wanted to, like impress the coach, whatever.
Yeah. Classic. One of those recruiting games where you just go off.
Just trying to like give me someone's attention,
Yeah.
please. And then I remember I like really wanted to be there so badly, and then they showed interest, and so they were the first recruiting trip I actually went out to. So I got to see USC, and then that whole summer I kind of just bounced around from school to school. Thankfully, my dad was like, wherever you think you can see yourself, we gotta go. He was like really good about, and my mom too, about just like allowing me to go see these schools. Like, a lot of parents, wouldn't let their kids go look at schools in California because they know
Yeah.
the commitment of their kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they don't even want to like entertain that because it is so far, and there's like so many like, challenges associated with that.
100%, 100%. And the financial aspect of it too. It's like you're getting on planes to go watch games and stuff. Like, they love to watch play. So that was tough. But then once I came to USC, I was like, you know out of anyone. It's like
absolutely.
you're there, you're at the athletic facilities in the Coliseum, like surrounded by this atmosphere that is like,
It's just
for lack of a better word, it is, yeah. For lack of a better word, it's just different. It's just like so college. I was like, wow.
Yeah, and I think like being from the East Coast, like both of us, like going out and seeing like, because I had like gone to like Maryland football games and like stuff like that, but like going out and seeing like one of the like power athletic schools, like, and just being there was just like wild. Like, visit, I was like, listen, you don't have to sell me like this. I'm there.
Right. And
I was like, yeah.
Again, to your point of being on the East Coast, it's like you only hear about like Trojan football and like USC athletics, and you hear like the studs that come out of there, but you're not really in it, so you don't know. Then once you go over there, you're like, you know what I mean?
It's crazy. Like even my dad, who like loves sports, and I'm sure your dad was the exact same way. Like on the visit, like my dad was like tweaking more than like I was, because he was just like, this is unbelievable.
I love
Like,
my dad, but he gets so into this stuff. He would be like, "Kat, take a picture of me with this," and I'm like, "Dad, we're with coaches, like they're dying laughing." He's like, "Come on, let's take a picture with the sword." I'm like, "Oh my god,
your
yeah."
dad, like, I forget what like the story or like the setting was, but I just know that there's a tree from each state on USC's campus, and I don't know how I know this, but I know that your dad knows where the New York one is, and like definitely has pictures with it. Like,
Yeah. So again, the first time that we came to USC, it was me and my dad, and then Devin and Lindsay on the golf court. And obviously, Devin was the assistant at the time. Lindsay was
Yeah.
head coach. And they're just telling us about the school. You know, like, this is communication school if that's what you're interested in. We have business, whatever. They're like, Devin's like, "Oh yeah, we also have a weird fact. We have a tree. Every state has a tree apparently, and we have each state's tree on our campus." And my dad immediately goes, "Oh, nice. Where's New York? And what's New York's tree?" And Devin's like, "You know what? I don't
oh
know."
my God.
My dad's like, "That's it. We're not coming here." Like, get me around. And then and then sure enough, Devin looked it up, and the next time she saw it, I forget what.
Yeah, I'm sure the next time she like mailed one to your house. Dude, that's probably so funny because like for them, they have like number one recruits coming to campus. Like, we gotta lock her in. And like the one thing is just like the tree. Like, and Devin's like, damn.
He's just a funny guy. He just likes to mess with people.
Yeah.
But no, so then every school I pretty much saw after that, like, I kind of just compared to USC and like got more used to the thought of like going there. And you know, between academics, athletics, like, I don't need to tell you, you know exactly why you went there and why I went there. It's just like a culture, you know.
So then the next part of our journey is I come for my official visit. And
Yeah, buddy.
for all those listening, official visits, like, I don't even really know how it is now because there's like more, like, you can do it as like a junior and stuff and like whatever, like it is probably different. But at the time, basically, you would be committed to a school for like forever. And then your senior year, you could finally go on one official visit, like paid for by the school. And so they would like fly you in our case, and then you would stay with the freshmen because you were a senior in high school. And it was like during the fall, it was just like fun, like little weekend getaway, like go to a football game, whatever. And so I remember I was at like field hockey practice, and I got an email from Devin Wills with like our official visit, like date and like our hosts. And I was like, oh my God, like Kerrigan Miller. Like, I was like, let's go. And people were like literally you had fans like when I was in high school, like of my teammates being like, oh my God, like I knew her as like GoPro girl, like that's the girl with the GoPro. Like,
Oh, and like how the roles have changed now. People stop me at UNC's campus and they're like, "Wait a sec, are you on Katie's blogs?" And I'm like,
wait, this doesn't make sense. But no, yeah. But anyway, so I remember like one of my teammates was like, oh my God, like that's so cool. Like she's the GoPro girl. And I was like, yeah, that's sick. So then I get there, we just have a blast of a weekend, like unbelievable. And then at that point I was like, all right, like I had already locked it in, but like USC is like definitely for me.
dude, I was so excited when they matched us together because obviously I knew about you too. Like this was like arguably like the start of your come up, or I don't really know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We obviously followed each other because you were looking at USA, and we got paired up together. And I remember we picked you up from the athletic facility. We went to class, and we just clicked, you know. We were at these classes, like you were dying.
Dude, it was unbelievable. It was literally like friendship at first sight. Like it cracked me.
100%. I know, we did click from the start, and I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, she's coming here. Your personality was like made for our team, and then like what you wanted to do, like your role within obviously the lacrosse community, but just with like content and creating things, that's like, you know, the epitome of USC and like the film school, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, just like LA and the whole thing. And I remember when this is like a wild story, but the first class that you took me to that day when I got off the plane is now a class that I'm in, like right now, like on Zoom, like which is nuts. And I remember like we had gotten like Verde, and I was like so hyped, and then we walk up to Annenberg, And I was like, yo, this building's like so sick. And you're like, yeah, it's just like whatever. And then you're like, yeah, I'm a communications major. Like, I was like, oh, this is so cool. And of course I had like applied to the film school, like everything. And I just remember like we go in and like you remember like your first like time sitting in on a college class is like so cool because it's like not high school, like because it's
Yeah.
like different. So I remember just being like, oh my God. And you guys were like learning how to do like Photoshop and like things like that. And I was just like, this is sick. Like I want to take this class like next fall. And of course it's a requirement and I don't even get around to it until now. And then we dude, literally. And then we went to this class with like you had friends in the class and like there were other teammates in the class and I was like, oh my God, that's so fun. Like just like the taste of college was just like unreal.
Yeah. I remember the first we went to I think it was Introduction to Cinema first. And you were like, this is so interesting. And that was like one of my most boring.
And I remember you go, yeah, like you make videos, right? And I go, yeah. And you go, oh, you're gonna love this class. And it was just like a class about like movies. And I was like, thanks, dude.
The history of cinema. It was black and white movies.
You go, oh, you're gonna love this stuff. And I remember like the other girls being like, oh, she makes videos, and you're like, yeah, you gotta check it out. Like, yeah. And you're like, you're gonna love this class. I was like, sweet. I was just sitting there like taking notes, like.
Probably my worst class. If the professor's listening to this, I'm sorry. That was not my best class. And then, yeah, I remember the Photoshop class. We were making our trash island.
Unreal. Mine's due in a week, by the way. So if you want to help me.
Cover ocean pollution. Keep it
I
going.
know, yeah. Keep it going. Keep the tradition alive.
Is that what you're doing?
No, probably not. I don't know. I haven't
Yeah, maybe don't do that, actually.
Yeah, no, probably not. They'd be like, oh, I feel like we've seen this before. Yeah, I don't know.
Cross archives.
Yeah, on Blackboard or whatever. But yeah, and then that night, obviously, a huge part of it is like going out, like on your official. It's like fun to like see the school. That was sick. Like that was fun. Yeah, and then I left and I was like, all right, USC's sick. So my next question is, when you were a comm major at USC, right?
Yep.
So what kind of was like your focus, I guess you could say, and like now you're obviously at UNC in a grad program. So like talk about your degree a little bit at USC and like what like the comm school, everything, just like the experience, like because obviously you're very like outgoing, you're a very like comm major type of person. So what was that like being at like Annenberg?
Yeah. So I originally, like, I won't lie, once I graduated from high school, I was, majoring in lacrosse, minoring in comm. Honestly, like, I went into school with like a bad attitude, not a bad attitude, just like a different perspective than I have now, 100%, which I'm glad, because I've definitely learned from it. But I went into comm because obviously I knew I wanted to come out of college in 4 years with an idea of like where I wanted to go job wise. And the thing about comm is it's so broad that you could really like touch into anything. Like I didn't know if I wanted to do something with like special needs community or like speech pathology, something like that, which would require me to go to grad school anyway. Or if I wanted, like, I came into college with this mindset that I was going to be the next Erin Andrews and I was going to be on, the headline of the NFL. Like, that went out the window after I did it with, like, USC football. It was no good. And don't roll the clip. Do not.
No, this is a podcast. There's no rolling the clip. Don't worry.
That was a traumatizing experience.
It's probably saving you, honestly, that I can't roll the clips right now because holy shit, dude. Like, imagine.
Zoom.
All right, so what was it like to be GoPro girl? Roll the clip.
Oh, no.
So you thought you were going to be Erin Andrews.
Right. So it was really broad. I could go into whatever I wanted. Then got into my sophomore year and like I still didn't know. I was more focused on school now. Thank goodness I kind of had my head on straight and I was like, okay, like I'm going to college not only to play lacrosse but also to, get a degree. Wow, crazy. Yeah. And so kind of got more into my studies and like was like trying to figure out where I wanted to be. I thought I was going to be a sports agent. Was studying for the LSTAT. Like I went a couple different ways.
Yeah, you kept your options open.
Yeah, and like I really I just wanted to figure out something that I was gonna do that I was gonna love, Yeah. And all my comm studies kept going back to like sports media, sports administration, like especially right now in the heat of like NIL, like COVID, like season shutting yet, like there's so much going
Yeah,
on with intercollegiate athletics.
it's crazy.
I'm in a perfect spot. You know, obviously we didn't know COVID was going to cancel our season and all of that, but like what I'm studying right now is so relevant, which I'm kind of blessed that like my whole track within comm kind of like, you know, came back to where I am now.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it was just a good experience overall, but
Yeah. So you said that you had a different perspective on academics now than you did as a freshman. Obviously, like most people probably. What'd you say?
100%.
Yeah, and I think most people would agree with that, like in their own like academic experience. But what other like pieces of advice do you wish that you could tell like the freshman version of yourself coming onto USC's campus like in that fall?
Yeah. Dang, that's a good question.
Oh, I'm getting good at this.
Yeah, you're really hitting me
You're like,
hard, huh?
take your
Dang.
time, kiddo.
There's a lot of like little things. You know, when you're a freshman, you like you feel like eyes are on you at all times. You
Yep.
feel like you're always messing up.
Yeah.
You know? If I could have just like grabbed my freshman self and told her like not to like focus so much on the nitty gritty and like go crazy about the little things and just kind of step back and see the big picture, like I would have been way better off. And sorry, I don't know why there's
You're good.
NASCAR racing going on. I think like I still do this now. Like I'm not an angel. Like I still get stressed out about like, you know, if I had a bad practice or if I didn't do well on a test. Like athletes are always like this. You know, we're
Oh, yeah.
usually perfectionists. You know, like to have our stuff organized and set. And sometimes when you're a freshman, you're put in a whole different environment, especially at USC. Like it's for us, for you, for sure. When you were a freshman too, it's a culture shock.
Yeah.
You're dealt with a different type of academics than you're ever used to.
A different type of athletics. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I would say, one, you gotta enjoy it. And how you enjoy it is like by not stressing out about the little things, because honestly, they're so minute in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Like if I just step back and then like, okay, like, you know, I had a bit of practice. Great, it's over. I'm at USC, I'm in California, you know.
Yeah.
I'm 17 years old, like living my best life. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I think doing that allows you to like have a way better like outlook on your whole college experience.
Yeah, and you just like put things in a better perspective for yourself. I completely agree. Like there were times that like I would like not sleep because of like I would be like scared that I wouldn't wake up because or like whatever. Like and it's just like looking back, I would say the same thing. Just like like it's all good. Like at the end of the day, it's all gonna be fine. Like
Like no one's freshman experience is easy. Like I don't care like what girls put on their Instagram or like how people perceive it to be.
Yeah.
No one has the time of their freshman year. It's tough, but you also learn so much.
Yeah, and that's what like makes you,
I'm a freshman right now.
Yeah, you are, which we'll get into. Don't worry, but yeah, I agree. But so basically, so obviously, you know, every freshman that comes onto campus has a huge adjustment, like you said, whether it's the culture shock or the new school, everything. Just like it's a lot at once. But you being like not necessarily like number one recruit, but just like higher profile and like kind of like one of the, you know, like they would always write like one of the biggest recruits to ever come to USC, all that stuff. Like, and it wasn't like it was like on the scale of like football or anything, but like there was certainly like murmurs of that type of stuff. So like, how did you kind of, I guess, like just like show up? Like, how are you able to get over that and like not like rise to the expectation basically, which is what you did. So like, what was there something like told yourself or like did you block out the noise? Like what like was it?
I mean, I think how I was back then is the same like way I am now. Like anything that's in the media or like, yeah, whatever, me coming out about the number one recruit or like Kerrigan transfers to UNC, like all that stuff is just honestly background noise. You know what I mean? Like even when they named me the number one recruit, like I didn't like, maybe this is not good advice, but I didn't believe I was the best in the country. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, I could still see that like
that's a really, really good outlook. Like, as bad as it sounds, like,
Yeah.
because if you had been like, oh, I'm like, damn right, like, then you probably wouldn't have, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I don't know if I would, I honestly couldn't tell you if I'm just like, was crazy competitive and still am, or
yeah,
if I was just never satisfied. But I am. I'm never satisfied. Like even when they said like, oh, like, Kerrigan's going to USC and they did the whole photo shoot at the Coliseum, like all of that, I was like, wow, this is cool. But like, I'm still a freshman on a top
yeah,
10. Like
yeah.
honestly, this doesn't mean shit. You know what I mean? Like,
You're like, I haven't done anything yet.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Like I haven't proved myself in any way, and I still feel that way. Like again, being here, I'm on. This team was the #1 team last year.
yeah,
And I'm a freshman.
yeah.
I prove
I believe it.
myself.
Yeah,
Tenfold.
yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. So I mean, I guess like you obviously like you're very good at lacrosse. There's no hiding that. You were like one of our like best midfielders, whatever. Like so sick.
Thank
And
you.
so, but
Yeah.
so I just wonder like how you because you had a pretty balanced like experience at USC. I would say like you were like not the life of the party by any means, but like you knew how to like turn it off and like lock into like social stuff and like you like did well in school like all that. So I guess like another piece would be would you have any advice to somebody who maybe is like going because it's obviously like you want to go hard on lacrosse like there's no it's not like you're taking away from that but like again like I'm not sweating the little things like how to have like a holistic experience and not just like
Mm,
well like if you find yourself in that trap.
yeah. Yeah. That's a really good question, and like a really good. I think that's really good to point out, especially for like incoming freshmen and just people in college, because like a lot of girls will you can a lot of girls go two ways when they hit college. They can either go like, okay, like this is my time to have fun, and they go all in on that, and they kind of just like lose sight of lacrosse, which is fine. Some girls just do that.
Yeah,
Or some girls will go like lacrosse, 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 and then 4 years later, you look back and you're like, wow, I don't know. I don't really know
yeah, yeah,
either of those sides because I kind of tend to stay in the middle.
yeah,
Um, but everyone's different, like some girls are all in on lacrosse and like that's what they want to do 24/7,
which is fine. Yeah,
and they love that. Yeah, and
yeah,
that's great. I'm like, more
yeah,
power to you. Like
yeah, yeah.
I can't do that
Like I
24/7. But
can't do wall ball at 7 a.m. every day but hey if you want to do that great.
if that's your therapy, go.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
out. But yeah, I think like it's all about finding that balance. And again, like that's not easy, but I love lacrosse because, and I still love lacrosse, like
yeah,
because as an old lady that I am, because I'm able to like step away from the game and like enjoy time with my family and my
yeah,
friends and like, play soccer and like do other things, and like
yeah,
find enjoyment in my studies and stuff like that. I think for me, if I was all lacrosse all the time or like had this expectation of myself to just like, like I need to shoot like 2 hours a day and then do ball, you know what I mean? I wouldn't enjoy it as much.
yeah, that makes sense.
And
And
I like the question a lot because a lot of girls like will DM me and they'll be like, what's your roll routine? Like how many hours do you do? And I
exactly.
always say
That's
to them,
why I asked that, like, because I get the same type of DMs, like, and I agree. Like, I want to just tell people, like, kind of like what you said at the beginning and what you're saying now. Like, just, it's all good. Like, you can do this like 5 days a week, whatever, but like on Friday night at 10 p.m., like, you don't have to hit the wall. Like, go hang out with your family, your friends. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that
yeah,
an aspect that's missed because I think personally, like, training and everything is getting more competitive today. And with social media, it's all out there. So if you see like this camp happening and you're not at that camp, then you're in your head like, oh my God, like I need to, like,
yep, 100%. And
yeah,
then they come out with like these rankings for girls when they're so young. And like one of the girls I trained reached out to me and she's like, I'm not on this list. Like, what does that mean? Like, am I not going to go to college? And she's in like ninth grade. And
yeah,
I'm like, oh my gosh, like, take a deep breath. Like, this is not the end of the world. Like, I'm telling you, like, what you do is what you do. Like, you bring a different part of the game than these girls do. And like,
yeah,
all the media attention is background noise. Like, it's not the end all be all. You know what I mean?
And it's like anything else. Like, you're competing against yourself at the end of the day. Like, if you are good enough to play college lacrosse, like, you will play college lacrosse. Like, that's what a coach told me when I was a freshman in high school. She was like, it's all in your control. Like, if you want to put in the work, and like, you can make it happen. But like, if you want to put work into other things and make that happen, like, you can. Like, you just have to get better at the thing that you choose to do every single day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that end goal in mind.
Like, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. So another thing is when I started blogging, the fall, like, after I started blogging, like that next fall, I started KT Verse, the series where, and that was like the fall that we started getting closer as friends, I would say. Like, I would head over, like, we would have like taco night, like, whatever. And I remember one night I was like, oh, I actually need someone to film a video for me. Like, do you want to do this basketball video with me and Jonah? And you're like, oh my God, yeah, of course. Like, I'm so down, whatever. And I don't think you understood what you were committing yourself to, because it ended up, we did 7 of them, and they all took like 3 hours. Like, but
I got better as I went, but that first.
No, you were good. You always hold yourself short on that too, which I never understood.
Yeah, but I just didn't know the what I was doing with the with the start.
Yeah. But once you got that, oh my God, it was over. But the thing is, I always tell young, like, people who ask me, like, oh, how do I, like, start on YouTube, whatever, and I always tell them, like, it's not about the camera, like, it's not about, like, how sick the video looks, like, it's about the vibe that you portray. And we had shot a couple episodes where you weren't filming for whatever reason, like, maybe you were, like, sick or, like, oh, whatever. And I would have somebody else. Yeah, you're like, I don't want to go. But I had other people film, and the vibes just weren't there, and like, it wasn't the same. Like, I just think you brought this like level of, like, we didn't take ourselves too seriously. Like, behind the camera, you would like make jokes about like my volleyball skills and like my tennis like abilities, and I just think that was like so fun and like such a unique part of like my college experience, like, that we just made like so many of those videos on like random Tuesday nights at like
well, you're like the easiest person to vibe with ever. Like, filming you and KT Burst. Wait, by the way, which KT Burst did I miss? Did I not film?
You didn't do the first football one. I did a football one with Isaac Taylor Stewart, the kid.
Probably got like no views, whatever.
No, it like didn't. That's what I'm telling you. Like, it was just not. Like, I was like, what's up, guys? It's me getting about, like, and yours. I was just like, like, it's going nuts. But yeah, it was.
By the way, side note, so I'm in a fantasy team, and we did our draft day today, and Michael Pittman's on my team.
Oh my God, shut up.
KG Burst, yeah.
That is the sickest thing ever.
Yep, I got Pitt. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
That's so dope. That's like,
I know,
crazy.
it was kind of sweet. No, I was gonna text him. I totally forgot, but I'll text him after this.
Oh my God, that's sick. Wow. Pitt, if you're watching, you better score some touchdowns. Yeah, come on.
You're my fantasy.
That's unreal. But yeah, what were you saying?
No, you go. You were talking about like blogging and stuff like that, and you started. All right, time out. I have another point to make before you go again.
You're the guest. Say whatever you want.
Yeah, can I say something? By the way, a lot of people don't know this, but when Katie started vlogging, it was to cheer up her teammate Amanda Flyhan, who tore her ACL and was like kind of down and like needed something like to cheer her up. Katie started the vlog because of that. Okay. Yep. So a lot of these girls now who like want to become YouTube like vloggers, influencers, that's great, but like everybody tells their own story. And like I only bring this up because over the summer we did a webinar. I told you about this with Marcus Holman.
Yeah.
And so a question like this came up of like kind of like I forget what it is about. It's just like, do you basically like like a lot of like when people like compare themselves to people in the game of lacrosse, it's just like self-deprecating and just like it goes down a downward spiral. Yeah. And I was like, dude, my teammate Katie DeFeo like totally found this like niche for her because of a situation just from being a good teammate. Like that is so easy to do. And she, you know, started with something so small and now she's like YouTube famous and I get stopped on the street for knowing Katie DeFeo. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so
but it is true. Like just like it's not, you can't overwhelm yourself with like the end goal of like, oh, I want to be like YouTube famous. Like you start for the right reasons. Like it's just like anything, and you just like you love
100%.
doing it, then it'll come naturally.
Yeah. And like out of that, like you've totally exploded the exposure of lacrosse. Like you're growing the game, one, because you went to USC and like played on USC's team. And now you have this platform as like a YouTube sensation whose videos hit like everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
But it started from like just honestly being a good person.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate that.
Everyone can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. Like in their own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, and like I think honestly that spring, if we're gonna be real, was like tough. For a lot of people on the team. For me, just like as a freshman, like it was just tough because I was a freshman. Like I know you had a couple like tough weekends on in that spring, and I think honestly it was just like a tougher, like it was a grind. And it's like people forget that like when you play at USC or like in the Pac-12, like you're if you're from the East Coast, you're living like that far away from home, and like for the whole spring you're not going home. So like you get on a plane on January 7th, and you know in the back of your mind when you're taking off from your hometown airport that you're not going to be home for 6 months. Like, and that's kind of like a psychological thing to get through. And so I think honestly, like another reason why I love vlogging so much is because it was just like fun, and like we were just having a blast. Like it literally was just fun.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And listen, like every team of every sport, I don't care where you are, like there is a grind within your year, you know, whether it's off season, usually it's in season. Every athlete goes through a grind. Like, and
there are tough moments.
Yeah, 100%. You're lying if you say that like all 4 years of college it was a cakewalk. It's not. That's why not everyone's a student athlete. You know what I mean? Especially at D1 universities.
Yeah.
But like if you can find those little things that just like make everyone happy, or like even spark like the little like, you know, moments of happiness within a season, it's so worth it, you know? Because at the end of the day, like we talked about this, but like it is about your experience. Like how are you gonna look back? And like the vlogs and like the Katie verse and stuff, that was like 1,000 times worth it. I would have done it again.
Oh my God, dude, it was just so fun. Like, and then we would
every sport, it was honestly so fun.
And we would just leave and then go back to the yellow house and just like edit and live and like make dinner, hang out. Like it was so fun. We would sit there all night. Like your bureau, who I don't know who's in your room now, but I haven't gotten it yet. I don't even know if it's still in there.
He's living in my room.
Did you know there's rats in there, by the way, now?
I heard about that.
Yeah, tough. Just thought I'd slip that in.
Yeah, dude. Yellow House has seen better years.
Yeah. Apparently they got rid of the rats though, allegedly. But whoa, my like George just like did something weird. I feel like there's like
probably the rats.
Yeah, I just like said rat. Oh my God. Anyways, when I like heard a noise, I don't know. I'm probably fine.
I miss the girls on the team. Have you seen everyone?
What'd you say?
Have you seen everyone?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
it's
all right, go ahead.
But no, yeah, you're good. But yeah, that was just fun, and I think that is again like goes back to what we were saying about like enjoying the college experience and just like not dipping all your eggs in one basket. Like it was good of us, and like definitely helped our like sanity in the long run to like spend those nights like vibing, hanging out, like even just like getting to know the other athletes, like just everything. Like it was just fun. So
100%.
yeah, and so obviously, you know, another big theme here with the two of us is decisions, big time decisions. And we've both made a pretty big time decision in 2020 in different ways. And it started off on a cold afternoon in January when I told you that I was quitting the team at USC. And I remember we were in the locker room and I just was like, hey guys, like it was you and Kaylee. And I don't know why, I just go, hey guys, I have to tell you something. And you were like, okay. And then I was like, yeah, I'm quitting the team, like blah, blah, we spoke about it. And then, okay, let me just ask you, when I did that, what went through your mind right away? And like, were you just like, what? Like, Because it
Well,
came out of
okay.
nowhere, but you also could have seen it coming.
Here, from that moment, let's
Yep.
rewind 24 hours, okay?
Okay.
We're doing conditioning.
Don't say the jog backs. Did you hear? Did you hear on the podcast with Izzy and Chelsea? We were talking about that.
Yeah, I listened to it, but when did you guys talk about the jog
I
bags?
literally said, wait. I said to them, I was like, yeah, there came a point where I was doing these jog backs and I was running next to Kerrigan.
Who was running the jog bags with you?
Yeah.
And okay, so just so the viewers know, this was one of our hardest conditioning days.
Terrible.
Like, it was hot. It was just tough. It was just a tough day.
Just one of those days.
So Katie's running the rest of the conditioning. I'm running with her. I'm in her ear. You got this. Like, just
Pump
trying
those
to
arms. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to pump your arms. Yeah, like just like stupid running tactics. Just get through it. Just throw yourself over the line.
Yeah.
Because it was tough. It was. And then you finished, and you were like, "Thanks." You said, "Thank you." Whatever. And I don't know what. I think I kind of just in my head I was like, that was tough, and like I really, like I hope she stays with us. And like the thought of you quitting, like I just suppressed it in my head. Like I was like, I don't even want to believe that like she would ever like not be on this team. Yeah. But I also like I was on the back end of it seeing, okay, you're staying up till all hours of the night making these videos. She's waking up in the morning, making sure that she's not late for lacrosse. Yep. And then she has her studies. So like obviously it didn't make sense for you. No. Selfishly, I was like, please don't go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you pulled me and Kaylee, and then I just because I had suppressed it in my head, I was like, there's no like I was just in denial. And then when she said it, I was like, just full breakdown. We cried.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. And then I remember I went up to JR's office and I just like randomly told him too, and he was like, well, golly, like, damn. And I was like, JR, I know, it's wild. Like, but yeah, that was just like insane. But then I will say, like, the way that you guys all reacted and the way that like I remember when I told the team, I was expecting it to be like some sort of like funeral, like where everyone would like these like where everyone would be like really sad and like or like I don't know, just like weird reactions. And everyone like came up to me and like expressed that same sentiment of like, yo, like go do it, like go get this thing done, like go do your videos. Like everyone was kind of clear on like what the reasoning was. Like it wasn't a shock. And I think people were just happy that I like, finally like made that, like pulled the trigger.
Yeah, I mean, you're following your dream. Like, what are people just like? No, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
keep playing lacrosse. Yeah.
100%. Like it made sense for you. Like it wasn't. Your current situation was like, yeah, it was bettering you as like a lacrosse player, and like you got to be around us, and we all love you, and you were a huge part of the team. All those positive things, but like the track that you were going towards, and like lacrosse wise, playing Division I lacrosse, which is like a full-time job. Yeah. It's just like it was like a crossroads, and you kind of had to pick. Yeah,
100%. And I will say the way that you kept like asking me to come over to like watch The Bachelor, like things like that after I quit, really did mean a lot, because I had thought that I was gonna like lose friends, not as like they were bad friends in the first place, but just like you're not around, like, and that was dope. And I remember I felt like I was like going to work, like living my best life there, going to class, and then at night I was just hanging out with the team, and I was like, this is just like the best situation imaginable. Like,
100%. We want to hang out with you, like not just me. Obviously, I want to hang out with you. Everyone in my house wants to, the team wants to hang out.
But no, I'm just saying, like I don't. Yeah, like you made that effort. It was nice. It was. It was.
I mean, you make the effort for your friends that you want to hang out with. You know what I mean?
That's a great quote right there.
That's just a life lesson for me. You guys write this down?
Yeah. So, okay, well then anyways, you guys start playing games, and obviously I'm there. Come on. And I'm very emotional, and I'm screaming, and I'm like, Katie Hirsch had sent me clips of me on the game film, like screaming and running up and down the sidelines. I was making a fool out of myself. USC Lacrosse was my favorite team in America at the time. Like, I'm like, let's go. Still is. And And then, yeah, vibes. You guys are 6-0, right? Everyone, it's like great season so far. You're a senior. You're a leader. Like you were captain, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, captain, everything. And you're 6-0, dream team, whatever, vibes. And all of a sudden, obviously, the world stops. And I had asked Izzy this question, and we spoke about it. But her decision had been is obviously a little bit different from yours. And when something like that happens, and the world is so like not guaranteed at all, like you don't even know like when you're gonna be able to even go to a college campus next, like you start to think more reflectively and be like, what am I doing for myself? And you make these decisions like kind of what I had done earlier of like what's best for me. So I remember you FaceTimed me and you told me you entered the transfer portal, which honestly I was like, wow, like that's wild because like you don't see those things happening, like because it was such uncertain and crazy times, like you just never would expect like, but then it's like here comes the unexpected. So what like was your reaction? Yeah, what was your reaction? Just like when the season was canceled and like how did you kind of cope with that? Like right when it happened, like right off the bat.
Dude, that was awful. Like I will never the feeling in my belly when all right, well let's backtrack on this, right? Mark Miller must be a genie in a bottle. He calls me. Okay. This is so we're about 4 games into the season, I think, right? We just finished up our weekend playing Stanford Cal. Okay. No wait. So now we're 6-0.
Yep.
We got Stony Brook. We got ASU and Stony Brook the next week. Mark Miller's calling me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe twice, 3 times a day. All right. Saying, listen, this COVID stuff, I don't know. Like, I think it's going to affect your season.
And you're like, no way.
And I'm like, Dad, shut up. I'm a senior. We're 6-0. Like, what do you like?
Yeah.
Hang up the phone. And I'm never mean to my dad, but it was just so irritating because like, I don't know, maybe I have a problem with accepting these things, but also at the time, no one knew that was going to happen. You know?
God.
Like,
dude, it was crazy.
In the matter of a week, it went from like 6-0, like, let's go. Like, we're on a great course right now. Like, let's keep doing it. Like, we beat Michigan, which is the first time we beat them in program history. BC, first time we beat them in program history. Like, we were on a high,
Yeah, it was sick.
Exactly. And then to get these calls from my father, who's like my biggest supporter ever, and he's like, listen, Kara, I get it. I know where you're at. I don't want to like bring you down at all. It could not be a thing, but it also might be a thing. And I'm like, stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure enough, Stony Brook game gets canceled. Okay. Not the end of the world, but if you're a team like USC, you need those games because Stony Brook's a good team. So playing them, helps you as far as like your RBI.
Absolutely.
Not the end of the world. Great. ASU on Friday. Originally we're flying. Okay, now we're driving. Okay. Everybody gets on the bus. About an hour and a half in, bus turns around. I'm bawling. Because now I know,
Yeah.
Now at this point I'm like, damn, like this is just like, you don't expect this to happen. This doesn't happen. And at this point we were in the beginnings of COVID, like it was really like rapidly coming about and like no one knew what was going to happen hour to hour. And then to hear like, okay, not only is your Sunday game canceled, but also your Friday game canceled. Oh, and probably your season when you're a senior. That's like heartbreaking, especially like the effort we put in and the group we had. This was like my favorite USC lacrosse team ever. Like, everyone was tight from the freshmen to the seniors, and like
it was sick. It was perfect. Like it had like the writing on the wall of just like a great year. So
it really did.
So that type of adversity though strikes, and it's just wild to me. Like you're right. Like it was like a storybook like team, and then that just happens. It's like, how do you deal with that? Like you go home and then what? Like what do you just
that was like the worst part because then all right, so then we came back from ASU. We got back no one in my house unpacked their bags. We were still in our travel outfit.
Yeah.
Scroll, refreshing Twitter. And then NCAA comes out, all national championships are canceled. And my house is a house of seniors. So we're just hugging each other, bawling, crying for like 2 hours straight. Like, I've never been so dehydrated in my life. I was just crying you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then Lindsay's like, all right, we're going to have like a team meeting. So we know that it's done at this point, and that was really sad. But what was worst of all is that because we're in California, there was news that like Trump was going to close down major highways and stop domestic travel. So everyone's got to get out of there pretty much by Sunday. We had 2 days really to kind of hang out and say goodbye and cross our fingers and see what happens. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, dude.
So we come home, everyone comes home, and I was in quarantine. And at this point, you know, I was talking with Lindsay. We were doing our team Zoom calls and stuff. And then USC said they granted their student athletes their scholarship back, and we got our eligibility back. So like both good news on my part.
Yeah.
And I started looking at grad programs, and there's like really not like I knew I wanted to go into sports administration. I knew like right now in like May of like last year, I was on the track of, I still am on the track of being like an athletic director.
Yep.
Or something in sports administration of some level, whether professional or high school AD or college somewhere.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
But that's what I'm interested in. That's where my studies led me at the end of USC. And there's really nothing at USC grad program wise for that. So I was like getting a little frustrated. I'm calling Lindsay. I'm like, well, you know, we can do this or maybe this. And I'm like, Lindsay, this is all great. I'm still looking into this stuff. Don't get me wrong. I want to enter the transfer portal to have all my options available to me. And she was awesome. She was like, do it. Like, do whatever you want to do. She's like, I don't want you to, you know, I want what's best for you. Like,
yeah, for sure.
You know, so she was awesome with that. Entered the portal, and then started talking to a few coaches. I really wasn't like, I wasn't casting the net out there. I didn't want this to be like a whole recruiting.
You just wanted to see what your options were. Like it was grad school. Like you had told me that when you called me and told me, you were like, I want to see like what grad school programs I can do. Like, you know?
Right. And I didn't want this to be another like a recruiting like 2.0 where I'm
Lindsay,
you know exactly with and USC was still an option, so I wasn't going to talk to a bunch of different schools and like make this decision harder for myself, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Ultimately, UNC had this sports administration program is like one of the best in the country, and they only admit like 9 students per year. And so I was studying for the GRE to see if I would actually get into it. And then like when I tell you I was locked in my house for 3 weeks studying, like I'm not naturally gifted in the brains, but when I set my mind to something, there's no one stopping. Yeah. Like God can't stop me from getting well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I really studied and then got the scores I needed, thank goodness. And then you know, had to really make a decision and sat down with my parents, kind of laid it all out, and these are my schools, you know, this is what each program offers. And then ultimately decided on UNC and had to make some very tough phone calls. Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, because I remember the last time I literally saw you, like I haven't seen you since this moment, was when
that's so sad.
I know, right? It's crazy. Was when
living vicariously through your videos.
Yeah, child. The vlogs. Just watching me like, oh, that's what she's up to. But yeah, so the last time I saw you was when you guys had gotten the news, and then I was just like there hanging out just to like, you know, be there, like, and I knew you guys, like you had said, the domestic travel thing, like I was like on the next flight out basically, and I knew that you guys were, and so I remember I was just down at the Yellow House, like we were all just hanging out. It was like this eerie feeling, like it wasn't like, it was like, you know, when like you've been on teams that like say lose in the playoffs, but then like within 3 hours, everyone is able to like hang out and like say your goodbyes and have fun. Like it's actually fun. Like, but, and you're still thinking about the loss, like the next day, couple weeks, whatever. But like that night, it's like, okay, like, it's not like we're never going to see each other again. You know what I mean? And I remember this feeling was just so weird. Like it was not that, it was not happy. It was not even like really like sad. It was just like this weird, like no, like unsure, like no one knew what was gonna happen. Like,
Yeah, it was like our storybook was there, but it was just unwritten, you
yeah,
know? And
yeah,
we could, it was like, okay, wait, so we're really done? You know, no one could actually grasp the fact
yeah,
that we're actually, like, that was it.
for sure. And then you start to think, like, did I take it for granted? Like, I had thought that I would at least be able to delay, like, saying goodbye to your class until May, or like, like you take for granted, like the dinner nights, like watching The Bachelor, like watching that stupid reality TV show we watched with that, with when they were like hitting each other. What's that one that you guys loved?
Love Island?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was that one. Yeah. But like you take that for granted because then you're on a flight on March 13th to your home for God knows how long, and you're just like, geez, like it's over. Like, and I remember I just got like I left your guys' house to walk home, and I was like, all right, dude, like, all right, like, and you were just like, yeah, man, like, I'll see you soon. Like, there's no one knows.
Dad, I know.
Crazy. Like that's still one of the most like unreal experiences
Dude,
ever.
I know. And like, obviously, I still keep in touch with my USC teammates now. And like, I want to see them and I want them to come visit me here and I want to visit them
Yeah.
out there. But we still can't because COVID is still a thing. You know what I mean?
Which is crazy.
It's nuts. It's
Yeah.
just not just it's just a bunch of uncertainty and like no one has answers and you just gotta like
You just
take it
gotta
for
roll
what
with
it
the punches.
yeah, play it by ear.
Yeah. So obviously, like tough phone calls and everything, and like USC was great, but you've got to be freaking pumped, like just to be at the University of North Carolina, like just women's lacrosse, yeah, but like just the school, like all the athletics, like it's kind of another like USC vibe in the sense of like elite tradition and like
Yeah.
greatness. So like what are you most, I guess, because yeah, you are like a freshman again, like what are you most excited about, like just being there?
Yeah. I mean, I like it's obviously been like for me and my fellow transfers and freshmen, it's been a different experience. Like I can't even imagine what these freshmen are dealing with
Yeah.
because like I actually had a freshman, I had a freshman experience at USA and I had a whole undergrad experience at USA. Like to come into college to this setting with COVID, it just blows my mind.
Yeah.
But it's been cool. We were in quarantine as like a safety precaution within the athletic department. So we haven't really got a lot of chances to like really know the girls yet. Like I haven't met a lot of them on like an individual basis or anything like that. So I'm looking forward to doing that and like looking forward to actually getting to play with them and like do team stuff and stuff like that. But like as of now, like I'm just enjoying my life down here and like kind of getting adjusted to living in North Carolina and dealing with like grad school classes and that course load and stuff like that. But this place is awesome. Like I've gotten a lot of people have texted me. They're like, oh, like how do you like it? Like how does it compare to USC? And I'm like, just like different worlds. Like you can't even compare the two because they're both so sick in like their own respects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like there's certain things that they do here that they do differently at USC and vice versa. Like it's just like it's not you can't compare them.
Yeah.
It's great. But they're both sick universities. Like I feel blessed, I don't know what I did to deserve this, but
Yeah, that's really dope. And like I think in the same spirit of when like we all make these big decisions, we're all very supportive. And like I spoke on this on the podcast with Izzy and Chelsea about how like it was always bigger than lacrosse. Like it's always we were never friends because of lacrosse, like whatever. And we'll always be friends outside of it. And I think that like I always believed that, but until I quit and COVID hit and people quit and stayed and left and you transferred across the country and like Izzy comes back, like everything. And I just think it's like so cool to look and see like how supportive we all are of each other and like the decisions that we've made and like how this shit really is like for life, And like it's he always said it, but it like really is.
Yeah, dude, same to you. And like when you quit, like how supportive like I was to you and like I obviously wanted to hang out with you and was like I care less if you're on the team or not, like you're my friend regardless. You were the same way to me, you were like outwardly like, dude, I'm so pumped. Like you would randomly text me and be like, I can't believe you're going there, like that's sick. Which is like to have that support from someone you played with, and is your friend. that's like everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And a ton of the girls at USC sent me like UNC sweatshirts when we were in quarantine.
Yeah.
Like they sent hats for selling. I was like, I like
Yeah.
listen, like lacrosse is gonna end, you know?
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
like these relationships and these girls that you meet, that's forever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And we all just want each other to be like happy and like in a better like not like necessarily a better whatever, but like just to be happy and like be content and like be content with the decisions that we've made. And like it's tough and like no one has the roadmap, like especially now. So it's just like it's good that we're all kind of still on the same wavelength with that.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, girls supporting girls, teammates supporting teammates, like that shit's important. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
That
Yeah. Well, in the spirit of that, I mean, look, like I get to wear these whenever I want now. Like I wear them a lot. People can
I
ask
still
me.
he bought me a pair of J's too, and I haven't broken them out yet because I'm too scared to get them dirty.
Dude,
But
no, you have to wear them. That's the
oh,
thing. You gotta
I'm like
like,
wearing my outfits around them. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm just gonna wear them.
yeah.
They're dope though.
Yeah, so when people say like, "Oh, why are you wearing like a UNC colorway?" I can be like, "Oh, well, I actually have a friend who's on the UNC lacrosse team." So that's another reason why I'm very excited that you transferred to UNC.
That's dope,
Because
dude.
to now wear these. But yeah, just good vibes, dude.
Yeah, I'm really happy for both of us. I mean, it turned out right.
Yeah, I'm happy too. As always, thank you. Love always. Haven't seen you in a while, but I'm sure we'll be reunited soon one day. Good luck with the rest of your fall ball at UNC, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you, boss. I love you. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I feel like I've made it in life, number
Yeah,
one.
it's a huge
And
milestone.
we definitely have to FaceTime and catch up because I have a lot I need to catch you up on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on today. Where can they find you on Instagram?
At Kerrigan Miller.
There
You
you
guys,
go.
I don't post that much, so if you don't follow me, it's
No,
not a big
guys,
deal.
follow Kerrigan. Super great to follow. All right. Well, thank you, Kara.
I love you, Katie. I'll talk to you later, okay?
All right. Bye, homie.
Bye, boss.